Okay, here's a blast from the past and something we haven't talked about or even thought about for a long time, the presidential fitness test. And I think it's interesting that the three of us talking before we started didn't have the best memories about the presidential fitness test.
I know.
It was established during the Eisenhower administration. It's changed a little bit over the years. Obama replaced it in favor of sort of improving overall health. Trump signed an executive order, which he does about every hour, that reviving the presidential fitness test. And I'll tell you, my own experience with it was I could never throw the softball far enough. There was always one part of it that, and it was important to pass it. I had to pass that test, but I could never get that ball over the line.
I remember being in elementary school, and you had to climb a rope, right, and get up to the top and, touch the ceiling or something, and they timed you. I could never make it to the top. I never had enough arm strength to pull myself up, even in elementary school. And we have Lois Collins with us. And what was your experience, Lois?
So I was just thinking, I'm having like these horrible flashbacks. They're really
Sorry.
painful. I remember grabbing the rope and then lifting my feet off the ground, hoping that would
count, right?
Not great.
Lift you up.
So, Lois, why is this back in the news?
So when he signed the executive order, I started getting pitches from people saying, do you think that this is going to bring back more physical fitness in school, more recess, more PE, because those are the things that have been chopped away at. Every time we fall behind on our reading scores or our math scores, they take 10 minutes out of recess to do something that is supposed to boost that. And it's kind of ironic because the country that has probably the very best recess PE combination that really emphasizes those things also scores the best on all the tests, and that's Finland. And I was one of those people too. I've got to admit, I was somebody who thought, well, more math, less, more science, less running around, who cares? But the truth of the matter is research clearly shows that kids who have free play and also who have PE time do better in school. They're more alert, they're less restless, they're more focused, and it's actually an academic tool. It makes a difference. And when PE and recess go down, so do scores.
Is it focused, Lois, on grade school? Is that where we're talking about PE?
I'm not sure what. He has not released details on what he's going to do with the fitness test. And the fitness test is not the same as recess and PE either.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you.
So there's a lot of concern that PE and recess will start sort of teaching to the test, okay, you're going to have to do 20 push-ups, you're going to have to do, so kids won't get free play. They will be doing those prescribed exercises, which we don't know what they are yet. In the past, it was the rope climb, it was like tug of war stuff, maybe. It was sit-ups, curl-ups, whatever you call them. I was bad at all of them. I have wiped my memory clean, but there is real concern that it will be focused just on those things. And the other thing that is a little bit controversial is that to get the presidential award, you don't enter a healthy zone. You have to be in the top 15% of the country. You have to surpass the 85% level in order to get recognized. And there are going to be a lot of kids like me. It's like, it doesn't matter whether I'm good or bad at this. I'm not going to get it. So...
Yeah, right. So then you're grading on a curve, right? Which I never have been a fan of that one. Okay, so let me ask you you mentioned a couple of times free play. What is free play? What does that mean?
So that's when kids, and this happens not only at school, although it should happen at school, but it also happens at home or should happen at home. And that's when you run around and you explore and you chase butterflies and you make up your own games and you're out on the playground at recess and some kids are kicking a soccer ball and you're not. You've decided you would rather climb the rope course or go over the monkey bars or whatever. It's having some choice in what physical activity you're doing.
Lois, you did some interviews in connection with this article. People are generally in favor of this, educators and others looking at, hey, if we can increase recess, if we can get more kids out doing recess. You talked about the Finland, the country itself having that portion of their school actually helping academics. Is that what academicians here are saying as well?
They really hope that. They think that maybe the fitness test will increase the emphasis on physical fitness, but the people I talk to don't think that the fitness test itself is going to increase any of this stuff. They think it might change the focus a little bit, which is good. But most of the people that I talk to talk about how some states actually think this is so important that they protect it. It's in the law that kids have a certain amount of recess or PE or whatever. And other states let you do PE online.
Oh.
So I'm not quite sure how that works.
I was going to say, how do you do that?
I would have loved that if online had lived back when I was in school. But the truth of the matter is, Utah is a state that really encourages recess and PE, but it doesn't have the same kind of mandates. You go to New Jersey and they say you can't take away recess from a kid as punishment because it's too important to his learning.
Yeah, that's interesting. In fact, my daughter, so we have an almost 11-year-old, and she came home yesterday and she told me, she said I'm paraphrasing, we were too chatty as a class and we lost 3 minutes of recess.
Yep, that is a frequent punishment, and everybody that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of mental health experts, sports experts, all kinds of experts, said, do not do that, please.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That makes a lot of sense because you're punishing someone in a way that it actually backfires, I would think, because if you're punishing someone for not paying attention in class, maybe they do need to get out. They do need to have recess.
It's the same thing when you go into like a juvenile hall and you see that a kid gets referred for smoking and they give him a smoke break. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So one of the things that was interesting when I was raising children with a variety of different needs, I would have them do exercises, sometimes jumping on a mini tramp or something. And I found, especially kids that are maybe a little more neurodivergent, that physical exercise associated with learning helped it stick better, right? If you could jump up and down while you learn your ABCs, it sticks.
Plus, kids are wired to move.
Yeah.
They're hardwired to move when they're young. And the other thing that leads to is that if you are not someone who has physical activity and knows how to play outside and stuff, then you don't do it as an adult either. So
you're talking about the executive order. We're almost out of time, but I guess the schools then have to look at how they're going to implement that into their protocols and their recesses, what they do at their individual.
At some point, I think first they need to hear what the Fitness Council actually says the fitness test is going to include, and nobody knows that yet. It's like a lot of executive orders where we're going to do this, figure it out.
Short on details.
We'll
Thanks
give you
for
the
joining
details
us.
later.
This is Lois Collins, writer with the Deseret News. So look, if you're in the market for a car, you will want to make sure you are not buying one that has been in a flood, and there are thousands of them for sale in Utah. We'll learn more from KSL investigative reporter Matt Gebhardt. Next, we're streaming live on KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by @YourServicePros.